Welcome back to the Cottage Farmstead, or at least the road edition of it. We're Rebecca and Nathan, and we are on our way to show you something that we've been keeping secret for a little while. So ever since we met, we both knew that we wanted to start homesteading and to have our own farm. He already had a farm business selling to local restaurants and groceries and farmers markets, and I've always wanted to do a hobby farm and had backyard chickens and that sort of thing. So we always knew that we wanted to homestead. So we hatched a plan, and we've spent the last 3 years paying off all our debt. We paid off our mortgage. We are totally debt-free, and we have been saving money for a down payment as well, and we finally found our piece of property. So we're on our way to the new location of Cottage Farmstead, and we'll give you a quick tour of the property. We take early possession in about 2 weeks from the recording of this, and we fully close in mid-October. So we won't be doing a whole lot on the property other than dreaming and scheming of the future until later in the fall. But we thought we'd give you a sneak preview of where we're going. Well, welcome to the shack. As you see, there is a very old building still on the property. We're still trying to figure out the history of it. It looks like from the construction that was probably a tenant farmhouse. Well, we had looked into renovating it to possibly live in, but it looked like it's going to cost more than we want to spend on it, and we'd rather just get our home site built first. So we're going to focus on building our house, but we'll take a look inside so you can take a look at it too. We have big dreams for it. We're thinking about turning it into some sort of old-fashioned general store. We're close to Lake Hartwell here, and we think that would be great for the community. So this one was designed having 4 wood stoves, and there's a central chimney up there. And this was the kitchen. From what we can tell, there's the phone. You can see there's a little bit of power outlet there, and they obviously cooked a lot and burned a few things as well in that corner. Over here is, we assume, a bedroom. Currently, it's the residence of some buzzard vultures that live upstairs, so you can't smell them, but we can smell them. It's pretty gross, but for the most part, the bones of the structure are still pretty solid. And here is the front room. You see there's still some holes in the floor, so it's only along the joist that we're able to walk. Some cool old antiques that are here in the front room on the mantle. Still has some of the doors that are still preserved. And then in here, a whole bunch of old linoleum, some random paneling, and you can see the chimney has caved in, which is why there's a big opening to the sky that the buzzards discovered. So you've seen the shack on the property, but let's show you the land. So we've been coming out here on the weekends and just picnicking. We got permission from the landowner to kind of come out here at will and start planning. And what are you most excited about, Farmer Nathan?
The beauty of the land, just the overall southern slope, nice mix of hardwoods with the property as well. And there's actually a creek on the back of the property, which is absolutely extraordinary.
In the distance there, you can see the 2 patches of clay. That is where we were digging for a perk test to get a septic tank. So you can see we're planning on building our house quite a ways from the road. So we'll take you up there after we finish our lunch. Well, now that we've wrapped up our picnic lunch, we'll take you on a quick drive around the property, take a peek inside the woods a little bit. We probably won't make it all the way down to the creek today, but there is a creek on the back side of the property. So while there is a drive over at the shack, we're actually going to cut in a driveway right here in between some of these trees. And then we're going to drive along the edge of the property so that we don't take up too much of the field cutting straight across. Until we get to the ridge where we'll be driving down our driveway to our house. While we're here today, we're going to take some measurements so we get an idea and an estimate for how much. As you can see, we have a bit of a driveway already forming because we've been having everybody drive on the same route. Oop, big hump we're going to have to smooth out. Well, welcome to the home site of Cottage Farmstead 2.0. So for our perk test for our septic tank, we had to mark off the general location of our house. So you can see possibly 4 of the stakes. I can see 2 of them here on the little screen. But we're gonna have this beautiful view across the property down towards the road and shack. As you can see here, we had our perk test pit dug for the DHEC inspector, and we passed the perk test 2 days ago, so we're very excited about that.
So you may be wondering, why this land? Well, there's multiple characteristics that we looked for in our homestead property. One was having both a good hardwood selection, but then lots of pasture, for we want to have our cows, pigs, goats, and possibly a horse on the property someday. So this particular property has 11 acres of beautiful pasture land. It's a nice mix of fescue. They overseeded with oats, the prior owner did. And then it also has some orchard grass, so nicely well established, and that's good forage to get us through the winter hopefully as well. In addition to that, it also has 12 acres of beautiful hardwoods. Some of these trees are towering close to 100 feet tall, and it's just incredible to have that type of woodland to tap into for our wood needs, especially if we get a sawmill on site here and we can cut our own timber for any of our barns that we construct.
So a couple of other things that we had in mind when we were looking for our perfect homestead land, in addition to the woods and acres combination, it was really important to me to have an independent water source of some sort. I really wanted a creek, but I was open to having a well or a pond or something just to water the animals. We don't have to be so reliant on the tap water for, the pandemic year. It makes everybody question self-sufficiency a little bit. So it's like some sort of independent water source that would allow us to not be as reliant on the grid. When we put our offer in on this property, we thought the creek was just on the other side of the property line, but when we started exploring the woods after our offer was accepted, we learned that a bend in the creek is on our property, so that is very exciting for us. There's also a well down by the shack, so we knew that there was water available underground here. And we'll be showing you in our next video, so make sure you subscribe to catch that, is that we are looking for a place to drill a well. Since we're close to Lake Hartwell, we're pretty sure the water table is high enough that we don't have to dig too deep for water. So we're going to show you some dowsing rods next time.
Another component that influences property purchase is the proximity to the farm that I work at, Growing Green Family Farms. Right now we've been commuting close to 40 minutes for myself to go to work, and this will cut that down to 6 minutes, which means we're also close to family, as we are a family-run business. In addition to that, my brother, Josh, owns land that is adjacent to this property, so they're also doing their own homesteading there. So just to have someone in the community that close is really a huge gift, as it enables us, if we're going on vacation, to have someone next door just watch over things while we're gone.
So taking a left turn out of our house, we're going to go around the corner here, and my parents are going to join us on this homestead when they retire. And they're gonna be around the corner over here. And my dad was out here doing a little bit of tractor work looking at their home site, and I think they want to be a little bit closer into the woods than we do. But they're gonna have this lovely view from their front porch. And then our home is gonna be around that bend in the trees right there. So we'll both have some good privacy while still being very close. Let's take a look at the woods. It's a little hard to see on camera, but we're going downhill towards the creek. You see how majestic some of these oak trees are. And I was looking at some old aerial maps from about 1949. This area had been woods even at that time, so we're gonna have a lot of beautiful timber back here. So we've come to the other side of the woods, and down there, it's a little hard to see in the lower light, but that is a bit of a ravine, a gully, that is pretty much the boundary of our property. It goes right down there, so the fields are up that way. And it keeps going down to the creek that we're about to. Look at that huge pine tree. I mean, it's tall and straight. It's still alive. Doesn't have a disease. It's so healthy. Here's a closer look of the ravine area. Daisy, come on, baby. Let's not go down there. Come on. You can kind of sort of see it. There's a fence right there. So, I mean, that's right where the property line is. And the creek is covered up in a little bit of greens. It's a fairly slow flowing creek. But we're hoping on our side of the line to dig it down a little bit to get a little bit more flow and clear it out a little bit. Let's see if we can get a glimpse of the water. So yeah, right there is the creek. So you can hear the creek now. We have a short little drop here on our part of the property where it bends and then continues on down to Lake Hartwell.